Alright, so today we're going to show you the 3 Brown & Sharpe cylindrical grinders that we've gotten ready. The first machine we're going to show you is number 13, or the blue machine. We've taken the table slides off, the swivel table, the bottom table, all this mechanism throughout the cross slide right down to the machine base and ways to make sure that it's getting proper lubrication. Because with these machines, that's pretty much the most important thing. So this particular one is wired for 220 volts, 3-phase, and I'm going to go ahead and start it up now. They're not hydraulic. The table motion is done through a gearbox in here and the reversing gears that allow it to go backwards and forwards, and then you've got a high and a low range and 3 different speeds, so a total of 6 different speeds. I'm going to start it up. That's just the spindle running now. Over here on the left side is a lever that you lift up 1 notch and you get your headstock coming on. Now this machine, like the other 2, are set up for a dead center turning, driving between centers with a driver dog. Then the next, pull this up and you get your reciprocation of your table. So that just goes back and forth like that. And your stops are adjustable, and you have different speeds that you can click this into. Each machine has its own dresser. You have the tailstock here, your taper adjustment. Like I said, this has all been cleaned up. When you first switch these machines on, you want to always make sure that when you look in this window here, that you see oil dripping. There's a little indicator in there. Probably we're not going to be able to see it. I don't believe so. But when you look in that hole, there are some little drops of oil. You want to make sure that you always see that. That lets you know that your lubrication pump is functioning. We're going to take a little walk around to the back here. I've got this cross slide right now pushed pretty much as far forward as it'll go, exposing this little red line that I drew here. And this is a little cover that swings in and out of the way. When you look down in here, you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but you will see little drips of oil coming from the end of a little copper tubing. Now that is the entire lubrication for the entire cross slide. Now what that's doing is it's dropping into a little trench that is milled out and goes into several different directions on the bottom of this slide. It's a wicking system. It has what look like pipe cleaners. That's how Brown & Sharpe did it. So as soon as this machine gets turned on, you're turning on a little pump here. What we did was we removed the original Brown & Sharpe pump, which was no longer working, plus it's obsolete and you can't get it anymore. This is a nice little pump that works off of 110. Now if you notice here, I've got a little stream of oil coming out of here. You have to adjust that stream of oil. It's about a pencil point kind of a line, I would say, pencil point. There's a petcock right there to set that. Now if you close that all the way, you're going to have way too much oil going to the ways, and you're going to cause other problems. Your ways will float or what have you. These machines don't have metering units. From the pump, it goes directly to little spots where it drips onto these pipe cleaner networks. Now your swivel, which when you loosen this center bolt down here, this whole head will swivel. That swivel gets lubricated from up here. You want to dump some way lube in there every once in a while so that it goes down a very little tube, a little tube goes right through this whole head into there. The ways on your outside here, you're going to just lubricate these yourself with some way lube on a little brush. Keep them nice and cleaned up. Also the screw on the inside. So that's pretty much everything I can tell you about this. So I'm going to shut it off. And we're still live? All right, so we're going to move over to the next machine right now. This one is actually an 814U, and it's currently wired for 440 volts, three-phase. Again, we did the same thing with this. This was taken apart, the top swivel table, the bottom swivel table, the tailstock, the workhead swivel, the swivel here, and the slide going back and forth. And all the lubrication stuff was checked. And again, when you turn this one on, that immediately starts the grinding wheel and starts your table motor running. The motor is running as soon as you start it, but it only engages the table when you first the headstock comes on and then the table. Now the speeds in here can be adjusted. There's 5 different speeds or 4 different speeds that you could set these headstocks to. And this is kind of like a little brake. Again, you have different feeds. Slow, intermediate, and slower, and then your high and your low. And again, you have your window here where if you can look through it, you'll see that it's dripping. Now this particular machine has the original pump in it. It's still working fine. Machine gets lots of oil. The longer these machines run, the more oil they get. So it's good just to keep them running so they get lubed up, especially if you let it sit for weeks at a time without being used. You want to let these things run for a while. Again, the coolant tank is in the back here. This particular machine has some splash guards that go back and forth with the wheel slide, and the water will make its way down to these trays and into the coolant tank. Well, that's pretty much the story on this. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. And then we have the last machine, another number 13. This one is the yellow machine. I'm going to start it up. This one has riser blocks, so it has a dresser that's a little bit higher. You could certainly take these blocks off if you wanted to make the machine normal. This column goes up and down, so you can do that easily enough. And again, I've got this one strapped down. We start our table going. Again, you have your window here with your drips, your speeds for your table. Okay. And again, this was taken apart and all the areas cleaned underneath the table, underneath the swivel, underneath here, and all this stuff here was taken off. Again, this you'll see another line there if you want to inspect this when you get it in your shop, or every so often you want to make sure you're getting oil underneath there and to see how that's working. Now the other machine, because it has all the guarding up front here, you can't go this close. I'm way beyond the point of the center point on the machine. This is only, you only go this far forward with this slide, just so you could check that. And again, this one has the modified coolant system. This tank has been, like the other one, scrubbed out, cleaned out. This mounted in there, and you have the little petcock and your stream of oil. You want to fool around with that petcock until you get a nice dripping of oil back here and a nice drip in the front indicator window. This one also has a coolant tank on the left side here. And it has a splash guard that's going to go up front underneath here. If you were going to use the coolant, I don't know if you're going to use the coolant. The other machine, the first one, the blue machine, has a coolant system with it, but it does not have any kind of a water protection. So if you use coolant on it, you're going to be pouring it all over the machine and all over the motors, and that's not going to be good. So you're going to have to make some kind of guarding, copy the guarding that's on this number 13 yellow machine. I guess that's about it. This one also is wired for 220 volts. So you've got two machines that are 220 and one machine that is 440. So I think that's about it. Thank you very much.